In this cast, I will talk about how to make a Google form. First, you need to start with your Gmail account. For us, that is a CCHS Dawn's account. So you go to gmail.com, which I am already there. Usually, if you're already signed in, it will take you right there, look like this. And you can tell over here in the corner that that's the CCHS Dawn's account, also here. Once you're there, you need to go to the drive. It is important to use your CCHS Dawn's account because you have some special privileges that you don't have with other Gmail accounts. In your drive, then you want to select Create and then Form. Then it will come up with the Edit Form, place where you can create the form. These are the privileges that I was talking about. The first one is that you can allow users to edit their responses, meaning if they accidentally submit their form and they were not ready to do so, then they can change the answers. So you need to think about whether you want them to do that or not. This one requires them to sign into the form, which is a good thing. It protects our form from outside people looking at our forms. However, if the person who's trying to view the form cannot remember their password, then it can kind of take up time in your classroom that you don't want to have taken up. So think about that as well. And the last one automatically collects respondents' Cathedral Catholic High School username. Also, a good one if you'd like to have that. It prevents students from submitting work that is not theirs. Here you do the title, so whatever you would like to call it. And then here's any special instructions for the students. And then here you start your first question. So whatever you would like to ask about. And then here can be some help text. Sometimes I will put an example here if I'm looking for a very specific answer. If I'm trying to collect data and I want a phone number, then I might put 619 dash, or if you're looking for a birth date, you give an example of what you'd like them to put, or a website, whatever it is that you're looking for an example here. Here's the different types of questions you can choose from. This is text, which is basically short answer, but usually is adequate for anything that you need to collect. The only time you would use paragraph is if you needed to have them write like a page about something. Then multiple choice, you can just type your options in, whatever you might need them to choose, like if you're talking about which class you have them in, you just click on the next one. It's always a good idea to make the classes multiple choice so that when you see the spreadsheet later, you can divide them up by which class they're in. When you're done, if it's a question you need them to answer and you don't want them to forget, you can choose make this a required question, and then you're done with that question. This little red right here shows that you made it a required question. The next thing is the next question already there for you. To edit it, you want to click on the pencil. The trash can gets rid of it, and this one will duplicate the question. Something that's important is to have an idea of what you want your form to look like before you begin. You can rearrange questions. However, if you do that, later on when you look at the spreadsheet will only remember the original way you typed it up. Sometimes it matters because you don't want this question before this question in the spreadsheet to show up. So I think it's really important to have maybe on a piece of paper next to you the order of what you want to include in your form before you begin. I'm going to put here example 2, and then we'll choose scale, another one of the options. The nice thing about the scale is you can label it. So 1 can be, low, and 5 can be high, or whatever you want it to be. And then again, make a required question or don't. Sometimes you don't want to make it a required question. If it's like an optional one or an extra credit, then you wouldn't click that one. And then you hit done. Okay, in order to get another question on here, you need to go all the way up here to the top and hit add item. Then you have the same options from here that you can choose like we did before. Check boxes is another one. Example 3. And then you just click in the box to make another one appear. So maybe you're talking about what types of projects they would like to do or work on. Or Keynote. I don't know. I'm just giving ideas here. You can use it for lots of things. You just click on the next one to make it show up. If you make a box show up and you don't want it there, see here it says option 3. You can just click on the X over here. When you're done with your form, look over here to the right. It will say saved a lot of times or save. If it just says save, go ahead and click on it so it saves. It usually does auto save, but not always. Oh, another thing within here is the theme. There's 97 different themes. So you can look here at all the different ones you might like to have. Click on it. It will show you an example of what it might look like in that theme. If you like it, then you click apply. And here you can see I chose lemon wallpaper. Interesting theme. You won't see the theme here because this is just the draft form, but it will show up on what the students see. So then now it says saved, so I'm good. And now this form is available in my Google Drive. You can see here I still have that open, so I can just click back. It won't show up right now. Well, it did actually because we did save it, but sometimes it doesn't. That's okay. Just hit up here the refresh, the circle with the arrow, and then it will for sure show up and it will be in order of what you titled it. So I called it title of this form. And then when I click it open, I'm going to think I opened the wrong thing because it looks like the spreadsheet, but that's okay. And here we have example 1, example 2, example 3. And this is going to be where the student answers come in. But let's say I wanted to keep working on the form because I didn't finish. I can click on form. And here I can do lots of cool things like edit the form. So I can keep working on it if I need to. Or I can send the form. If you're worried about trying to find the form later and you want to have it in your email, safekeeping, you can send it to yourself, or you can send it to your students this way too, although I usually post the form somewhere. And then also under form is go to live form, and that shows you what the students are going to see. This is what it looks like when it's done. Then I go back to the drive, or excuse me, the title of this form. And then, so I've chosen edit, send, live, shows what it looks like. I can embed it into maybe a Google site I have. I can show the summary of the students' responses. So I can, once they do all their responses, I can see what the summary might look like. Now I don't have any answers in here, but I can click on one that does just to show you what it looks like. So I believe maybe this one has some answers in it. I have a lot of practice ones. Yes. Okay, so here is all student answers in theory, and I click on form and I show summary of responses, and this will show you a way that it shows you kind of a summary of what your students said, how they answered. So question, I called them all questions, so I didn't number them, which was a mistake, but here it says question, and it shows me how many people answered what on that question, which is pretty cool. And then, yeah, that's just how many people responded. So anyway, that's called, to do that, that's under form and show summary of responses. Going back to your drive, so when you're all done and you want to look at the students' answers, then you go to your drive, and then it will be here in alphabetical order. Then, but getting ahead of myself, in order for me to put the form somewhere that my students can answer it, I need to get the link. So I do that and go to live form. I think I already have it open, and that's why it's not going to open. Let me close these out. Go to live form, and then I can use the link from here. Double click, and then copy. I did a right click for that. And then now I can put the form somewhere. Perfect timing. Places that I usually put my forms for students to access is on my bulletin board, but you could easily make it an assignment. So once you go onto your bulletin board, then you, hello, bulletin board? Yeah, there it goes. You just edit the bulletin board, and then you can even just put the link itself if you wanted to, or I usually like to call it something like you see here, video links, and then highlight it, and then you'll see the change show up, and then you can put the link there. So then you could call it, like, for the students, like Red 1, click here, or you know, project, whatever you'd like to call it. So then the students could come to your bulletin board or to the assignment page and click right on it, and then once they do that, the form would pop up. If you have any questions, please let me know, and I'd be happy to help you.